Global happenings today. We communicate, we analyze global news. Stay tuned. Hello guys, welcome back to our channel. We are so excited to have you again. The next meeting of APC has come and gone, but yet I can assure you that there are still some aggrieved members who may decide to take some legal step against the party, though the president, after issues have been resolved, one that people should stay out of court, but I think it's not going to be so because some steps have been taken towards that direction. Also, we're going to look at reasons why Buhari decided to go against the man who helped him during the elections. We're going to look at all of that, but first of all, let's just take a look at the news. And the news having that recent President Muhammadu Buhari moved against the suspended national chairman of the All Progressive Congress APC emerged last night as the National Executive Council NEC welded the big stick to check the crisis ravaging the party and evade what the president described as self-destruction. At an emergency meeting in Abuja, the NEC dissolved the factionalized National Working Committee and set up a caretaker National Convention Committee headed by Governor of Yobe State, who was also a former National Secretary of the party, Mai Malaboni. The emergency visual NEC meeting presided over by President Buhari at the council chamber presidential villa also appointed Senator John Agbanodo Edege as National Secretary of the Caretaker Committee. Parties inside told us that Buhari moved against Oshiomhole because he narrowed the party to himself, and one of the founder of the APC committed many infractions, sidelined the NEC, and carried out solely many actions that needed NEC's ratification. One of the actions that needed ratification was setting up the screening committee for the Edo State primary of the APC. The insider said all the governors who attended the NEC meeting were not in support of Oshiomhole and did not dissent to the dissolution of the National Working Committee. And one of the sources said, and I quote, he said, "Can you imagine Oshiomhole narrowed the party to himself and a leader of the APC. 19 members of the National Working Committee were for Oshiomhole and as their leader. There were so many constitutional infractions, many decisions of the party that were supposed to be ratified by the National Executive Council were taken by Oshiomhole. We could not continue like that. The president had to save the party." On Tuesday, President Buhari then had threw his support behind the faction of APC led by cut-back acting national chairman Chief Victor Giadam and the NEC meeting he fixed for yesterday. The NWC, led by Hilariata, who stood in for late Senator Abiola Ajimobi, who was appointed acting national chairman following the suspension of Adams Oshiomhole as the national chairman, kicked against the NEC meeting and urged members to disregard the notice. Oshiomhole is in support of the entire National Working Committee, which enjoyed the backing of 17 National Working Committee members as opposed to Chief Giadam, backed by just 2 members. Governor Buni was sworn in immediately by Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice Abubakar Malami. However, some aggrieved members of the dissolved National Working Committee, now headed by ETA, are determined to challenge their dissolution in court, arguing that the emergency NEC meeting was illegal and had no power to do what it did. Yesterday's decision of the NEC is an output of the underground raging battle for the soul of the APC ahead of the 2023 general polls among leaders of various groups that form APC, governors elected on the platform of the party, and other power broker. In his remark at the NEC, President Buhari advised members of the party to bury their hatchet, warning that mutating disagreement have dire consequences and could lead to destruction. He said the party gained could be reversed as conflict overshadow the primary objective of the service to the people. He urged members to refocus on the larger picture and place more emphasis on uniting the party. He said, and I quote, "Fellow party members, this is a very crucial moment in the life of our party, and it is with a deep sense of concern that I stand before you today to speak as the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, who had been elected on the platform of our great party. The issue currently confronting our party at this time are such that should worry every party member at the moment. Our party is faced with internal wrangling. There are ongoing litigation against some party members, and we cannot clearly ascertain the status of the National Working Committee member. The president expressed worry over shifting loyalty within the party and inconsistency in leadership, which has opened the governing party to mockery." And in his word, he said, there are also other associated disputes as to the legitimacy or otherwise of holders of certain national offices of the party. The party is also contending with judicial claim and counterclaim, order and counter orders, and indeed judgment and counter judgment that are predominantly at cross purposes. Confronted with these issues, it is obvious that the fortune of the party are currently in jeopardy. Administration of our party is becoming impossible, and there is consequently an urgent need for intervention to immediately arrest further drift and internal wrangling, which may lead to total disintegration. What we see clearly emerging is that we are beginning to self-destruct. This, my dear party member, is not just regrettable, but utterly gut-wrenching. President Buhari proposed that the meeting may adopt the developed resolution as contained in the agenda and pass resolution including approving immediate discontinuation of all pending litigation involving the party and its member, ratifying the primary election conducted in Edo State, and dissolving current National Working Committee and appointing caretaker / extraordinary convention planning committee for the party. All right, and unfortunately, this seemed not to be so because most of the crises will not be buried, owing to the fact that most of the people believe that it must be ongoing due to the fact that things are not working in their own favor. You understand? Things are not working in their own favor. And most people had believed that the dissolution of the National Working Committee was kind of targeted at Tinubu. But the new leader, the caretaker chairman, said that that wasn't so. And according to his word, he said here, and I'm going to quote exactly what he said. He said, "You mentioned the name of one of our leader, Asiwaju Bola Tinubu, founding father of this party. We are all together to rescue this party from all this. Nobody is targeted, and it is against nobody. Asiwaju is one of the leaders of this party and a founding father of the party." And those were the words he said about, Tinubu, which therefore means that according to him, Tinubu is still very, very okay. He's part of the running of the party. So let's just look at this issue of kicking out Adam Oshiomhole from the office. What was the essence of doing that? These are some of the things that we have been bothering our heads with. The fact that things are being done, or the fact that you do things just because you are on top. You do things and you feel that you can pocket everybody and they must run the show according as it aligns with your personal selfish interest. If it doesn't align, then we're not going to be part of it and all of that. I think that is the reason why they have decided to put him at arm's length and make him realize that he is just one single member of the party, and the party itself cannot revolve around him. Yeah, there may be a lot of political undertone to this decision taken by them, but then if you want to look at it objectively, you will affirm that it was good enough for him to be, kept where he is currently, so that the party will not self-destroy itself. Because I think the essence of a party is to see how unanimously they can work together and overpower other parties and become leaders, and they'll be ruling this thing. For example, in the United States, we have the Democrat and we have the Republicans. If the Republicans are fighting against the Democrat, it's really okay. But a situation whereby Republicans are fighting against Republicans, that's self-destruction. And guess what? The purpose of forming that party is totally been frustrated, totally been dissolved. So I think this is the same thing. The awakening of the president had helped APC, to be to rework and re-strengthen their party so that they can get prepared for tomorrow. So I think it was the issue of allowing everything to revolve around him was why Buhari decided to make that decision. But guess what? As we all know, it's taken so long. It shouldn't have been this long. At least at the point you just begin to pick things and say, no, this is how things ought to be done. This is how things ought to be done. And it wouldn't have escalated to, all these Bwahaha everywhere and all of that. Even his National Working Committee, that is currently being led by Gilead Eta, they've said that it wasn't okay. Whatever decision was taken there was not okay, and very soon they are considering litigation against the party, despite the warning by the president. So let's just watch out what will happen in the party in future. But as we all know, Oshiomhole is out, being that he is a relentless fighter. I know very well that he's going to create another party of his own, where those disgruntled members will go and pitch tent with him. But the truth of the matter is, let's just see how everything goes out, because where he would have gotten enough support would have been if greater number of the governors were standing with him. But unfortunately, none of them are standing with him. All of them said that he had overused them and all of that. So, however, let's just